Hi, welcome back to my channel. Antoinette here, and we're going to continue with the hashtag spooky season tags. The next one I'm doing is the hashtag for ancestral roots. This is from Essence of the Moon, Selena, so it's a VR to her as well. And in Selena's video, which I will link below, so please watch it and then go over and see her and send her some love. She's designed the tag basically around the moon, which is the essence of the moon for her, to reflect how ancestral energy weaves through the spiritual journey, whatever form or divinatory practice that may be, to enable us to follow the threads that lead us back to the stories and voices of those who went before. So she has a lot more information. Clearly you can see I've attempted to copy and type and adjust what she said. Really, I was just trying to make it sound like it made sense. I'm not sure that made sense. Whatever divinatory purposes that you use in order to connect with your ancestors, bring that into this tag. So it doesn't have to be spooky season decks per se, but I'm doing it in the spooky season tags. And we're going to be doing the deck that connects you to your bloodline or family history, the deck that channels messages from ancestors or guides, a deck that you use during Samhain or Day of the Dead or ancestral altars, a deck that you use for healing generational trauma or cycles, a deck that helped you understand your soul lineage, a deck you inherited, were gifted, or felt was meant for you, a deck that represents your cultural roots or ancestral land, a deck that has become a personal symbol of your lineage, and a deck that calls in the wisdom of the grandmothers or elders. Number 10, what does ancestral work mean to you, and how do your cards support it? Now, I don't know if I'm going to have a deck for all of these, but let's just dig in and have a look. Let's start with prompt 1, a deck that connects you to your bloodline or family history. Okay, it's a bunch of blanks that came with the first Ali Man's Tarot. This was an add-on pack, 17 blank tarot cards from the deck. One with different coloured backs. So this is the one that connects me to my bloodline or family history. I have different energies in here. And this one is my past lives. So when I was doing the Ancestral Grimoire, this is a deck that you created to do that. I haven't put anything else on the cards. It's literally, I've just put writing. So, and then these ones were designed so I could use a pendulum on them. And then I could use the pendulum over to see whether it's this side or this side, depending on which part of the paternal family that I'm looking at, right? And then we have aunts, uncles, and got the maternal family. And then centuries. And again, same thing. The idea is that I should be able to put the pendulum over the dates and ask which date it is that we are talking about when I wanted to look for times. And then we've got ancient one, which was beyond where I started. Where did I start with this? 13th century, I think. So we have beyond that is ancient one, and we've got the 14th, 15th, 13th. So those are my those are my cards for that. But these are, you're kind of taught to do these. I don't know where my 15th century one. We are taught to do these when we work through the deck. 14th, there it is, 14th, 15th, 13th, ancient one. And then, so that is the one that connects me to my bloodline or lineage if you want, because if I'm asking who it is I'm talking to, that's the set of cards I will pull out to get my answers. Number 2, the deck that channels messages from ancestors or guides. The deck that channels messages from ancestors or guides is Mildred Plains Oracle of Black Enchantment. This one for me channels messages from oracles or guides with the Oracle of the Tower of Strange Sprouts. Together, these two kind of give like weird worldly messages to me, and they feel more like channeled messages when I'm working with these. So just appreciate, so I don't use these in much more, this is a divinatory card manner, not a tarot reading manner. So I just use them for that. And then when I'm in the zone, when I've done my meditation, I've cleared my space, I've cleared my energy, you know, I've asked for my guides to give me the messages that's coming through. It's like I can better channel what's here. So this one is the one that I feel channels messages. It's these two. It was just weird one day. I put them down and I was doing a reading for something else, and it felt like it was a deeper message, a deeper moment, and that was when I realised that these two decks kind of speak together really well. I mean, to me that's really quite funny because I can almost see this is the person popping out here to scare everyone, getting their payback. And with your Eight of Cups, and then you've got that, I'm going to call it Saxon style fortress moat on top of the hill, very Saxon-esque. I don't know if anyone else does Normans and Saxons in school, but the way that they built their castles and moats were very noted to them, should we say. Yes, so I think I'm going to sneeze, excuse me a second. Okay, the next one, a deck I use for Samhain or Day of the Dead or Ancestral Altars. I'm going to pull this one. I have a selection of these. There's no set one. FYI, this is on Kickstarter on the 31st of October. If you want the deck. So don't be overpaying on Etsy or anywhere else, or eBay or anyone in secondhand sellers groups. Go and put yourself on Kickstarter and get the Kickstarter deck, because I've got a real issue with people selling decks for overinflated prices. Yeah, anyway, that's not for this topic. But this is the one that I kind of got it around this time of year anyway. It was in the dark half of the year. I'm calling it Samhain, but I've noticed now my decks, I think I have light and dark decks. So I do light half of the year, dark half of the year. That works for me. So I'm thinking it's becoming a seasonal thing, but definitely Holly King, Oak King type thing for me. For when I like swap, the way I swap around in the year, but it doesn't match the May to December. This matches spring to autumn, and then autumn back round to spring for my change of seasons. So I don't know how I work that out, whether they're cross quarters or whatever. I have to work it out. But this is the deck that I would, there's definitely the mood, the vibe is this season for me. This is a dark half of the year deck, absolutely 100%. This reads so beautifully with the Samhain Oracle from the Seasons of the Witch series from Rockpool. So I shall leave you there with this one. So next one is a deck I use for healing generational traumas or cycles. I don't really have one. I don't really do that in that way. I'll use whatever decks. If I'm using those two decks that I showed you for prompt 2, that's the decks I would use for that, if that makes sense. I wouldn't use like a separate deck necessarily. However, I'm putting this one down because I don't know why I'm shuffling it to put down. I'm shuffling it. This one is the third deck that sits in my Nancy Hendrickson bag for my Ancestral grimoire, which I still haven't finished. It's a work in progress. It kind of stopped and I haven't picked it up again. So one day when I pick it up, these decks are all sat ready to go, which is a bit of a shame really, because they should be out being used for other stuff. But I have so many decks around me that, let's be frank, I'm not missing them. But this one, maybe the Gentle Tarot, might be the one that I'll put down to top on top for if I had a question about healing. Not because the pictures are anything other than, just because it's called the Gentle Tarot. And that's how I would use it, and I would read from the book to see what stuck out from the book as a bibliomancy type thing. Or I might put down an oracle deck. I might choose an oracle deck off the shelf for this, and there's a couple of healing souls type oracles that you could also put down. Just this upside down. But yeah, so this is the one that I'd maybe call the healing generational traumas. Number 5, a deck that helped you understand your soul lineage. Let's see. Okay, I don't know if this helped me understand my soul lineage per se, but I did a past life reading with it, so I'm putting it down for that reason. And this one is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle Cards by Carl Gray. Really, really, it was the reading in this one that did it, so that's why it's here. It was in the book, I think there's a reading card spread. I'm sure it's this card spread in here. Yeah, there's a past life spread in here. So I did this past life spread. It's one of the first oracle spreads that I ever did, actually. And I, you know, as a newbie, I sat down and I channeled and I made sure I did it properly. And I've added things to the notes for the books for things that are missing. Where people have commented that, you know, Hay House have missed out some very valuable information. So I've taken the information that people have very kindly shared and I popped it in here, which is nice to have as well. So these are the cards that I just felt helped me understand my past life. So soul, lineage, it depends what you call soul and lineage, really, doesn't it? So if I'm talking about past life soul, what happened to me in my past life, that is to me part of my lineage. I don't need decks to help me understand my grandparents, if that makes sense. I can use any of the decks I've already named or any of the decks on my shelf for that. But this one, I also have the Rochelle on Amethyst Ascension showed it, the Beloved Dead Oracle. I have that one as well, but again, I haven't used that specifically for what this question is asking. I've used it as an oracle, basically. That's a very good deck. But there is something about this one that it just worked. And then when I read the book as well to go with it, when I did the spread, it has seasons in it. It's got so much in the deck. It's very cleverly done. It has seasons. It has like archetypes. It has angels. It has guides. It has animal spirits. And that's, you know, like you've got the eagle. You've got symbols, arrows, fox spirit. So there just really are some really great types of people in this deck. And it's not too big a deck. It actually seemed to be very good with what it does. It reads very well. A deck I inherited or gifted. A deck I inherited or was gifted. Oh, hang on. I have one. Okay, so my sister-in-law gifted me a bunch of decks from her dad, so my father-in-law. So you could call these inherited in one aspect. She doesn't read tarot, but she does read oracle, and she doesn't do very well with tarot decks because she's a little bit sensitive, actually very sensitive to the other world, and the energy that comes from these is even too much for her. So I have, and it's got their notes on the back as well. So I have an i6n set of cards. These are very old, and these are from witches. So this one is an AGM Muller. I mean, that's how old these cards are. So yeah, they were witches, but I got a couple of decks that may have been in use. So this one was found in his kitchen on a shelf, I believe. So the rest of the deck isn't here. It's in order because I've reset the energy, then popped it out in the sun, the moon, and a few other places because of the high magic that he was into. But I had actually been eyeing this deck up, and I was considering buying the new version of this, the mass market version that's out now. But they're huge cards, and I was wondering if I could cut them down. So can you imagine my joy when this one landed in my hands? The original version. I mean, I don't have the box or the guidebook, but either way, I have the original version in almost pristine condition. I don't need to cut it down. I mean, it's still very, very big. This is still a very big deck. But yeah, it's just... Sorry, I don't know if I was in screen when I did that because I'm just staring at the cards. I'm not looking at what I'm doing. I had that one gifted to me, / inheritance. And then this one I was also looking at, the Cosmic Tarot. Now, if you look carefully on this one, you might just be able to see a colour differentiation there with the cards. What you're looking at is the majors that were pulled out and used separately to the rest of the deck. So this is the old-fashioned cardstock. Again, it's in order, ready for me to use. It's had the same cleansings. Everything had to go through the same cleansings because I had so much stuff. There's a video called Trash versus Treasure, I think, where I show an awful lot of things that I got from the house when it was emptied, including a lot of high magic stuff and certificates and all the papers and magazines that came with it. So I have that one. So that was 2 decks that have been on my watch list. I really was hoping to one day own. So that was really cool, because I think this one's out of print now, actually, this Cosmic Tarot. And to have one that's imbued with so much magic as well. Next one I got was an original Tarot of the Witches. Another deck that I really wanted. I do have a version of this from Total Tarot, but I can get rid of that one and I can keep this one. It's a devil card. I just love the devil card in this. It's not anything but the devil you'd expect to see for me, but that's one that I like for that. And it's a pip deck for anyone that's not aware. So I have that one. And those are the backs on this one. Not a fan, as you all know, of the plaid backs. And then the biggest joke for me, anyway, the private joke, is the fact that there's an RWS in this. This would be her mum's RWS, and you can tell again it's another really well used deck. It's that papery, stocky stuff. I will keep this just for the fact that it's theirs. I don't know that I'll ever use it. Maybe, I don't know. Seems a bit like the Sentinel colourings, I think. I might be right, I might be wrong. It's a little bit muted. It does feel like maybe the Sentinel coloured deck. So a couple of my other RWSs I don't need, they can go. So those are the inherited decks I've had. So pretty cool, actually. And I've got 3 other decks around, but I don't need to show those, I don't think. These ones are my favourites of the inheritance decks. Deck that presents my cultural roots or ancestral lands. Okay, so I'm going to put the Celtic Universal Tarot down, just because I'm using this. This is the other deck in my Ancestral Grimoire, and this is the one that I use, or I was using to connect with obviously ancestors. And the reason why I went with Celtic is because it kind of crossed the boundaries for me. So this picked up my because I'm half Irish, so this picks up my Irish, and I'm half Estonian, so it picks up the kind of Germanic aspects of that, although Estonian is more land-based, so much more pagan in its roots and origins, but they don't talk about it like that. It's very weird. It's just natural, and it's just a way of life. It isn't like it is here, where everyone's like, oh yeah, that's a bit old, that's folklore, that's this, that's that. From what I've gathered, it's not that way inclined in that part of the world, so that's why I picked up this one. It's land-based, right? Land-based, land magic, stones, sun, moon. I don't know why I always shuffle these into the deck when I'm using them, but it's a very beautiful deck, and yeah, I will be keeping this one. There's a few decks in the Total Tarot collection that I will be getting rid of, and then there are probably 6 or 7 that I'm going to keep, and the rest will be gone. I gave 2 away today. I gave away the Runic and the Manga Tarot to somebody who appreciates both. They are German as well, and they happen to like Thor. So I thought, perfect, here's some runes. But this deck is the one that I use for that. That probably covers all the ones in my Ancestral Grimoire bag. I think you've seen my Ancestral Grimoire bag now of decks. So what's next, Selena? What else have we got? A card that has become a personal symbol of my lineage. That's a bit of a question, isn't it? A card that has become a personal symbol of my lineage. Can't even find my grimoire. What's that all about? Oh, it's right in front of me. card that's become a personal symbol of my lineage. Sorry, speaking over the microphone. Just looking for this. Just find. So I've put a lot of what's in here on my channel. Obviously, some of this is very private, so I don't want to show everything to you. I do recall drawing a card. That's what I'm looking for. In case you're wondering, what is she doing? I drew a card. Oh, pages of the stuff. Okay. This Nancy Hendrickson book took me down rabbit holes, and because it took me off down rabbit holes, I stopped. So this is the card for me. It's the Family Magic Inherited Oracle card. So this one to me represents my family lineage. And this is something that I kind of channeled and drew and then just threw into my grimoire while I was working with it. So I thought there was going to be like where you make a card for each section. I've got magical manifestation. That's another one. Some of it's quite private reading, sorry. Creating symbols. Healing magic. So I created a symbol for healing magic. So there's a few symbols that I've created while I've been doing this, which is really nice to be doing. And I've had to like print things out, stick them in here, and I've got like a Rowan Berry house protection charm that needs to go in, and some information I've written down, scribbled down, that needs to come in here. I've got quite a bit of space in here, and obviously my pen checks at the back. Everyone needs pen checks, but yeah. So I've only got through 1.5 of the bits in there, whatever you call them, things. So those are the cards. A card that has become personal, yeah. A deck that calls in the wisdom of the grandmother or elders. Let me think. That one really shouldn't have needed any thinking about. I've already mentioned it. This one. Seasons of the Witch, Samhain edition. This one calls in the feelings of the elders. I wouldn't be without this deck. And the, excuse me, Beltane one so far, and the Mabon one wouldn't be without those. The rest I've kind of given away that I've had. The only deck I could be very tempted to buy is the Letha one. I think I could be interested in the Letha one. That's it, I think. That'll be 4 decks. And then mix them together. So I'd use Mabon and this one together, and I'd use the Letha and the other one together, but I use this all year round anyway. So that's why I kind of stop. I use the Beltane one because it links into what I do, what I did, how I grew up, my heritage of growing up, my personal childhood, and this one just speaks to me from an ancestral perspective, which I didn't realise, but it's very deep to me, and it's the imagery. And the Mabon one is how I feel like my previous world around the cozy time of year. So yeah, I don't think this is something I need every season in. And I know they're now doing tarot to go with this. I don't think I need the tarot either. I've got enough decks to keep my soul happy, my dark soul. But this one is definitely, just the way it talks, the words in it, the images. So, and they kind of had that wispy, spirit-esque feel about them as ghosts, and it depends how you see ghosts, I guess, but this is just, I can't explain it, I can't put my hand on it, but this one is it. And the book with this one is, oh, look at that, how amazing. I think we're supposed to know what that means then, aren't we? Elements. Remember to feel the warmth pulsing through her womb. You are the child of mother. True harmony awaits you. Do you feel the heat of the fire, the dampness of the water, the whip of the wind in the weight of the earth? Imagine being Mother Earth dealing with all the elements. Somehow she manages to find harmony. The Elements card represents harmony and the need to make room for all energies by allowing yourself to be present. For example, if you feel sad, sit in the sadness and ask your sorrow what it needs to know. The same applies for the different emotions that come up for you. You are being guided to find harmony despite the various storms blowing your way. There is a reason for every symbolic storm, every quake, every fire, every mudslide. You may not see the reasons behind these events. Nevertheless, these occurrences are happening so that you can raise this energy, making way for healing to take place. Each season in your life must have time with you. You must follow the abundance and bountiful colour of spring and the creativity and illumination of summer. But you must also allow the releasing and the shedding of fall. Things must fall away once they've served their purpose, and do not forget the quiet hibernation of winter. Don't fight against your season, flow with them. Embrace each one for the gift offered. And then there is a reverse meaning, but I don't think we need the reverse meaning. I will read it. When elements is in reverse, you are being asked to reset your energy by connecting with Mother Nature. Just being in her presence can heal wounds that you didn't even know you had. Spend time under a tree, watching a sunset, or sleeping under the moon. Well, I definitely slept under the moon last night, is all I can say. It was the super moon for October. And if you know, you know. This will reset your spiritual mechanisms, helping you to clear out stagnant energy. The message is amplified if you also have pulled the Crystal and Herbs card. You might want to consider working with each of the 4 elements separately to get a better feel for the energy. Spend some time getting to know a new element and working with its energy to bring new manifestations to your life. What I was going to say before that happened is there is a lot of information in here, and sometimes there are spells, and sometimes there are recipes. So there is a fire cider recipe in here, I believe. Or is that in the other one? Ritual. There is one for candle magic in here, and the candles. So brilliant guidebook. That's the one maybe I'd say for grandmothers and elders. So what does ancestral work mean to me, and how do cards support it? For the most part, ancestral work for me is messages that come from loved ones, from people who've gone before me. But then, for me, the more I've done some of this work, and the wonderful ladies that I sometimes get to pick brains with in private chats and things from the tarot community, different ways of thinking has led me to believe, or start to understand the theories of the multiverse, everything everywhere all at once sort of thing. Not one I'm wrapping my head around very easily, this old crone here, but it's helping. And therefore, that's why I pause on this. And I say it because that past life, where I pulled the deck that I showed how I do a past life reading for my soul, I'm beginning to feel, not be swayed, but I'm beginning to feel that even past life readings are part of my ancestral work, because I might have been related to myself in a past life. I may have been me in a past life. I may be somewhere else right now at the same time that I'm here. This might just be one set of sliding doors that I'm experiencing. When I wake up in the mornings, I call my energy, my soul, my ethereal bodies back to me every morning when I wake up. I don't know why, but I do. By name. And that, I think, is part of the subconscious understanding of the multiverse that I can't put my finger on, and I can't put into words, and I can't explain because I can't wrap it around my conscious brain. My scientific brain can't take it in, but somewhere in my unconscious mind, it's understood. Psychopomp of the Void. If you go and have a look at her channel, she is a mind bender. But she is a mind bender. She's just put one out. She's a complete mind bender. But I get what they're saying, and I understand it. But I still can't join in the conversation because I don't have enough to say about it. But I feel like I'm maybe somewhere surfacing, maybe on her surface level of understanding, basically. And they've got like way deeper than I ever could. And I'm always fascinated by younger people than myself who have so much more soul knowledge and depth and understanding of the cosmic world, the cosmos around us, the ethereal world, travel, I don't know what else to say, magic, quantum theories, quantum realities. I'm talking stuff that I don't even understand myself, other than the fact that I watched it on TV. These are all things I watched on TV growing up from childhood right the way through to adulthood. All my favourite types of programmes, but I watched them for enjoyment, not because I felt there was something hidden in them. But weirdly, I must have been watching them and attracted to them for a reason, right? So I wasn't just watching them for the sake of it. I was watching them and underpinning some secret knowledge, like Supernatural. Yes, my gosh, I love Dean, but I learned about demons. I learned about protection. I learned about salt. I learned about sigils. I learned about casting spells. I learned about angel. Do you see what I mean? Like, there's all these things I learned about in background understanding and knowledge that I wouldn't have known otherwise. And then, you pick up a book one day and you read it, and it talks about Crowley from Supernatural. And you're like, oh, or you read about a Leviathan. Is it a Leviathan? Yeah, that one. I thought that was a made up thing in Supernatural. What's it doing in this book? And timelines and other hauntings. So yeah, there is this weird interconnected world of stuff. I can't put my finger on it. I can't eloquently talk about it. But that is where I feel this. I could just about do that card, by the way, everybody. Still freaks me out. But yeah, so that's where I'm going to stop here. So thank you so much, Selena, for bringing this tag to us. I hope you guys have enjoyed it and you join in. And if you do join in, remember to VR to Essence of the Moon with the hashtag Ancestral Roots, and then add the second hashtag for spooky season tags for me, and then I can find you as well if you don't tag me in your comments. So that would be wonderful, and it brings us together as a community. So that's my plan for this one, is to bring together multiple tags into one place, get everyone seeing things, and also I can see who's been to see me, because I'm having problems with my channel finding people, going back to see them. I'm being unsubscribed from multiple people at the moment. Essence of the Moon I've subscribed to 3 times, and this morning I went back to the channel and I'm unsubscribed again. Now maybe Selena's trying to tell me something and she's unsubscribing me, I don't know. Maybe I should read the room, right? But I don't think that's the case in this one. I think it's genuinely, I have no idea what's going on, but I've been unsubscribed 3 times. So I have to, for that reason, please, if I've missed you, lost you, come back, comment, tag me, and I'll come find you. So take care. Bye-bye.